I always like to start with my whole cheeses first, and you can kind of place them wherever you'd like and work around them. I always like to use a yellow or orange cheese, whatever you want to call this color. And when I've got a big block like this, I usually cut it in half first. To get a smaller block. If you're cutting in smaller chunks at a time, you'll get less fractures. And I just cut straight down into this. Everybody kind of knows how you can cut little rectangles of cheddar just fine. One thing I recommend is trying to make sure your thickness is pretty consistent, because it'll be easier to work with that way. And you can keep it simple and just kind of stack it like that, off center, fan it out a little bit, and it looks pretty nice. But if you want to get more creative with it, you can kind of just alternate. So I'll pick a spot to start, and I'll start stacking them, but instead of just laying them on top of each other lined up, I'll rotate one a little bit. And then I'll put the next one, I'll turn it a little bit. Kind of the same way that I put the first slice of cheddar, and then I'll rotate the next one again the same way that I did the second one, and then the next one, and the next one, and I'll just kind of keep with that pattern, and that looks pretty nice, I think, already. And you can kind of work around that, or you can cut them into triangles if you want a different shape. So I'll stack some of them back up. I wouldn't stack them up too high, because when you cut back through them, you're going to squish them all together and they're going to get stuck again. And then if you have the little triangles like this, you can kind of follow that same method of just rotating them as you go. So what I'm going to do is set down a few of them like that, where I'm basically just rotating the next piece a little bit farther than the one underneath it. And if you stack them just right, eventually you can get gravity to kind of take over and knock everything down. Oops, not like that. More like that. And then once you've got it kind of in a good position you like, then you can kind of keep playing with it. However, just keep rotating them. You can always go back to a different position and fan it out again. We'll cut some more and add some more to that. And then I'll go back to my previous slice right here and kind of mirror that pattern again. And then you eat a slice as you're cutting it too. And then for other shapes, you know, usually when you get a piece of cheese, you're going to get it in this wedge shape, right? If you're cutting something from a wheel. So that's why I like to work with triangles a lot, and that's why I've kind of gotten used to working with them, because most of the cheeses you'll go buy, especially traditional cheeses, will be in this wedge shape from a wheel. And then I just kind of set it down with the rind facing me, I find that that's the easiest way for me to cut it anyways, personally. And then I just kind of rock my knife into it, get rid of the rind there. I'll leave the rind on the back edge just for some depth of color, and it gives some indication of what cheese you have as well. And then you can do something just as simple as this. This already looks pretty nice. It's easy to do, obviously. Just kind of lay them on a skew as you're slicing, and that looks pretty nice. But another thing you can do is just take one extra step, and this is pretty easy. I'm going to scooch this over here. And you just flip over every other slice that you've got there to create a new kind of pattern here. I'll show you as we're putting it on our charcuterie board as well. But that's what you're just doing, flipping over every other slice. So we're going to do one this facing this way, one that's facing this way, and this way, and then again the other way. And you can kind of get these to stack straight up if you like that look. And again, very easy to do, very quick if you're in a hurry and you got some guests coming over. But a nice thing about it too is that it's very easy for your guests to just grab a single slice there. There's no difficulty in kind of limiting what you're taking. And if you like, you can also kind of lean it a little bit, which is the look that I kind of like, and still keep following that same pattern, but with just a little lean on it, and it'll have just a slightly different look to it, and it'll fill your space a little bit different as well.